Yeah, 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 yeah. This the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. In the field with my dogs, like the Sixers, we gon' ball. Wake up early in the morning, tune in anytime at all. Hard time, all season, don't believe in off seasons. Watch the Phillies, watch the Flyers, and the Eagles on the weekends, yeah. This is not your ordinary radio show. Ain't just talking sports, we be talking about the culture. All across the globe, anything you wanna cover. This is for the fans, no room for our front runners. This the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know the vibes.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Brad Memory Show. Marques, Brad, and Justin Emery.
Yo.
And the Philadelphia Eagles are now 10-1 after a 40-33 victory.
Hold on. Sorry.
After a 40-33 victory over the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers out there absolutely fighting for their lives to no avail because the Eagles offense, if you didn't know, is impossible to stop. And it's impossible to stop for a multitude of reasons, but we'll focus on the one major reason possible to stop. See, last year, the formula was basically the same thing you're seeing right now. It was a dynamic run game, but that was it. It was a dynamic run game. That's all really that they really could get done because at the time, the quarterback really wasn't great in the pocket, wasn't great getting the ball down the field, wasn't great making reads. All those things have changed. So now the offense is absolutely dynamic because what do you do? Like, what do you do to really stop them? They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. The quarterback can run the ball. I mean, I watched him snap 3 ankles in one play, which was fantastic. And he almost, Darnell Savage almost had an RIP to his ACL in the same play. On that third down. It's just unfair. The offense, first 2 plays, they don't move the ball. And then 3rd and 10, Hurts drops back and says, I'm just going to do it myself. It's funny. His speed does not jump off the screen, but his evasiveness jumps off the screen.
Yeah.
Like his ability to stick that foot in the ground and shift directions is absolutely uncanny and unmatched. He is so elusive and so great in the open field of making guys miss and just getting down the field. I mean, the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for over 150 and run for over 150. Absolutely absurd stat. And the Eagles right now are absolutely absurd. I mean, you literally cannot stop this offense. The adjustments were made. Nick Sirianni last week, he tried to do things similar without having Dallas Goedert in there with the other tight ends. Realized that wasn't working, scrapped that up, and this week did a lot more of, you saw A.J. Brown in the slot, who A.J. Brown, by the way, pops a blood vessel, vomiting so hard, which is insane. Lost 7 pounds coming to that game, so he wasn't quite right. But they did different things to try to substitute for Dallas Goedert, which worked much better than it did last week, trying to bring tight ends in. So, it's just what do you do with this offense? How do you stop it? The nice thing is, like we've talked about this before, the defensive coordinators, the meeting of the minds, the defensive engines will get together in the offseason, all put together superpowers and try to come up with things to stop this offense, because the NFL does not like anyone making them look silly. Right now, offensively, the Eagles are making teams look absolutely silly. There's no solution. You can't do anything. You have to sit there and take it. That's pretty much what it is. Now, the fact that it's gonna be really, really hard to take things away because they're so well balanced. Miles Sanders who's having a great season, quietly having a great season. Another great game on the ground for him. And they're just getting this thing done. The other side of the ball, defense, not the greatest game in the world. But you got some turnovers, things of that nature. But what out of that game really, which really concerned me honestly, is the CJ Gardner injury is the thing
Oh,
that I'm stressed out the most about.
yeah.
The lacerated kidney. Which I mean, the good news is that he's not lost for the season, but he's gonna be gone for at least a couple weeks.
I think he's done.
Yeah, that's a huge blow because he has been absolutely fantastic for them on that back end. So that could be tough, but overall, you got to be excited. They're 10-1. They're in a great position to get that bye. Um, Again, like I said, they look virtually unstoppable, and got a tough one coming up this week, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you might be asking why I'm wearing sunglasses, and that's because the over hit this week, Marcus. 9.5 was the line for the Eagles' wins this season. Early line was 8.5. That did not last long. I did not get it at 8.5, but all of those out there that did, congratulations for cashing it a week earlier.
Yeah.
We cashed it here at 9.5. Marcus, if you remember, you and I sat down with the schedule on the episode was September 6th.
Yes.
You and I sat down and ran down the whole schedule.
Yeah.
And we couldn't really figure out a way that they lose more than 4 games.
Yeah, I think we had 14 wins.
We had 14-3, and we were struggling to find a 4th win or a 4th loss.
Yeah, yeah.
So I immediately went and I bet them at 9.5. Marcus, I bet them at 10.5. I bet them at 11.5. So the next 2 weeks,
this is cash.
I have them to win the division. Yeah. I have them to win the conference. I have them to win to have the best record. Not just the best record. And thanks to your guidance, I had them to win the Super Bowl, but I had to early cash that out.
Yeah.
We just had to. We just had to be smart with it. Just had to early cash that out.
Yeah.
What do you do when you have a problem that you just can't solve?
Right.
And that's what other teams' defenses have right now with number 1 under center.
Yep.
Last year, he was very easy to defend. Get up in the receivers' faces, press them, get after him. He's either going to run or he's going to make a bad throw or a bad read.
Right.
This year, he's changed the entire script on himself. You want to rush him, he'll eat you up with his arm. You want to sit back, he'll run all over you. When it hits the fan, he's going to take his team down and get the dub.
They had a spy.
It didn't matter.
And they had a spy.
It didn't matter.
And he snapped his ankles.
But so I heard I think it was Jaws. No. It was Baldy. Baldy was breaking it down. And he goes, when you have Jason Kelce, the spy doesn't matter. Because you're not supposed to have a center that can run with the spy. And you do in this offense. And he goes, Jason Kelce is what negates the spy. You can spy Jalen all you want, but all of a sudden you have a 290-pound center up on you, ready to blast you into the back of the opposite end zone. Your spy doesn't matter.
Yeah. Makes
he goes, gone are the days where you have these lumbering 330-pound centers that can't get to the second level. He's like, that's not the case. He goes, you want to spy Jalen with a linebacker? That's fine. Jason Kelce will get on you. He's like, you want to spy Jalen with a safety? That's fine. Jason Kelce will get up on you. Side note, Jason and Travis Kelce's podcast, gold.
Fire.
Absolute gold. Side note on that.
Yeah, no. You look at that back shoulder throw he makes to Quez Watkins. Like, that's
ridiculous.
That's the type of stuff that he couldn't do that he's doing with ease now.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like, it's not even a sweat. Like, I now count on him to make those throws.
Yes.
Like, I'm no longer surprised when he does. I just say that's a great throw by the quarterback, and I move on. It's not
Miles Sanders
made that throw.
Yeah, Miles Sanders is looking like he's ready for that next contract. And with the way he's playing right now, how do you not bring him back?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I'm glad he's making it difficult on the Eagles.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to be easy for them to say, all right, well, we got Gainwell, we got Scott, we'll draft somebody, we'll figure it out. No. Run for 1,200, 1,400 yards, and he already got 7 touchdowns, I think.
Something like that.
Get 10 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns, and 1,400 yards.
Yep. Another 2 on a Sunday.
Listen, Miles Sanders single-handedly may have saved my fantasy season.
By himself.
Salute
Miles Sanders.
I needed that. Don't Google him or don't go to Twitter today and look up Miles Sanders because you're not going to like what's going to pop up.
Or you might like it.
Well, you might like it.
You might give a good on him.
Yeah, but there's definitely some things going on the Twitter world today about Miles Sanders.
Yes. Yeah.
And if I don't have TikTok,
athlete. What do you want?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing:
if these guys, this is what these guys do. Like this shouldn't surprise anybody.
Now, Dallas Goedert should be coming back, I believe, next.
Maybe against the Bears.
Is that when it's he's slated to come back? Is that no? He's going to come back. Yeah. So because he's walking around without a sling.
Yep.
He said he's expected to come back after the 4 games. I thought it was next week, but it might, like you said, it may be. I'm not sure whenever it is. Whenever he's due to come back, I expect him to come back. The thing that I'm
in the window also.
He's supposed to be back this week.
Yeah, he's in the window.
Is he cleared?
Yeah, he can come back anytime between now and I believe the Bears.
No, I'm not. But has he been yet?
I haven't heard anything yet.
I haven't heard anything either, and which leads me to believe it's Thursday. If you're not practicing today, you're probably not going to be playing, especially if you have. Let's be honest, Marcus. He's a big man.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
We don't know what his condition is.
Right.
Now, I don't know. He could be in phenomenal shape. Yeah. I'm just saying, big man with an ankle injury. I can't imagine he's hitting the treadmill that much.
Right.
So I just got to imagine he's got some Embiid effects, if you will, as far as his conditioning goes.
Yeah, could be.
Like I said, could be wrong. I don't know. But I'm just, 350 hasn't been able to walk for what, a month?
Something like that, yeah.
I'm going to take it that he's probably not in shape and almost definitely not in game shape.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to get in one question. Mm-hmm. At the end of this,
okay,
I need you to give me your prediction for this game. Not now, just before when we switch off of the Eagles, I got to know what you think because in my opinion, if they get this dub, I think we're 16-1.
Yeah.
But I want to save that till right before we because I know we'll finish this Eagles game, recapping, previewing, and then I'm sure we'll go to NFL National. But before we switch to that, I just want you to address that at the end of the Eagles.
Okay. It's one of those things. It's just the gift that keeps on giving with the Eagles because I think we all thought they could be really, really good. But best team in the NFL good because right now, like looking around the league and taking an honest assessment of everything I'm seeing, I think this is the best football team in the NFL. And I think that it's and when I say NFL, I mean NFL. I'm talking AFC too. We'll get into the power rankings in a little bit, but
and I have to apologize for you about those power rankings.
What's happening to Buffalo right now is kind of exactly what I was saying at the beginning of the year. You just can't trust them. Yeah, they beat the Lions, but just bad things. Say again?
It wasn't convincing.
No, bad things tend to happen to them. Like they're up 17-14. They're driving to kind of put the game away, and Josh Allen throws the ball into the face mask of a defender. Just one of the worst throws you're going to see. And like this is an anomaly. Like we go back to that Vikings game a couple weeks ago, which everyone seems to think is the game of the year, which I agree it was an amazing game, but it shouldn't have been. That game should have been over in the fourth quarter. Again, Bills are driving down the field with a chance to put the game away. Josh Allen throws a horrible interception, and they turn the ball over a lot in the red zone, which leads to things like I said, you can't trust them. They're untrustworthy. And in a big game, I just don't trust them. As dynamic as they can be, as great as they can be, I just don't trust them. And you look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are a really good football team, but are they better than the Eagles? I don't know about that. Like, I think they're really good.
Mahomes is just he's back to being a cyborg again this year.
I agree. I agree, but
like it caught up with him. Like we discussed it, the NFL caught up to him a little bit.
yeah.
But I think he readjusted a little bit. / Andy Reid readjusted a little bit.
Now
and he's back to being a cyborg.
Yeah, now him and Jalen go about things very differently. Their business,
Mm-hmm.
but Jalen's having just as good a season as Patrick Mahomes is.
Yep.
Very different type of style, obviously, but they're having they're both in the top 3 of MVP. And
I think it should be. I think they should be 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's top 3.
I agree.
Top 2.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm and then you have the Dolphins, who I think are really, really good. They're going to be tested this week. I'm really looking forward to Dolphins 49ers Sunday. I think that they're the 2 of the biggest threats to the throne in the NFC and AFC. That'll be a good game. But you got them, and then again, people complain about my Ravens last year. Last week. This is why I had them down there.
I told you I had to apologize. Since you brought it up, I'll just do it now. I was going to save it for the power rankings, but
no need to apologize.
You were right.
I don't trust him.
You were
this
right.
This is now the 4th time.
What did I just watch?
This is now the 4th time in a season the Ravens have blown a double-digit lead. 4 times in one season. And I got news for you. That offense, trash truck juice. They're having way too much heart. They're having way too much issues moving the football.
Deshaun's back though. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He's looking good.
Yeah. Listen, he's gonna be running like that when he's 70.
I love me some Deshaun Jackson.
One flyer out until he's like 75 years old. Like that's just what he's gonna be able to do.
Is he gonna be brought in at like 40?
Probably.
Just be like, just run a go route for a contender.
If I'm the Ravens, I fired Greg Roman yesterday.
Yes.
I
here's the thing, though.
You can't, though. Part of the problem.
You can't, though. You can't fire Greg Roman mid-season.
No, yeah, I agree. I'm being dramatic.
Because, he is the architect of Lamar Jackson. Like Greg Roman is more responsible for Lamar Jackson, what we see as the player, the MVP, than anybody else besides Lamar Jackson. More than Harbaugh, more than Greg Roman is what makes Lamar Jackson, like I said, besides Lamar himself, Superman. You cannot get rid of him mid-season. The Ravens will not win another game for the rest of the year if you do that.
Yeah, and listen, I'm being, when I say that,
I don't know if there's a more integral coordinator in the league than Roman is to the Ravens.
But the problem with Greg Roman is this is what you get is that guys with him, they get to a peak. Cam Newton got to the MVP. Cam Newton had that incredible season, and then that was it. And I think we're starting to see the same thing with Lamar, where Greg Roman has kind of run his course, and this offense has nowhere else to go now. And you can tell because they're having trouble consistently moving the ball. And, again, playoff success. We talked about this in a year.
It just worked. Like if they get rid of him, they need to have, because Harbaugh's not an offensive guy like that.
No.
They need to make the correct hire, because if not, they will flounder. Like you can't put Lamar in the same system that you have Joe Burrow in. It doesn't work like it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, I agree with you.
Specific type of
the Ravens do need to get rid of Greg Roman, but man, you got to make the right replacement.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't trust the Ravens. They're not trustworthy either.
No.
The Vikings. I think the Vikings are a good football team. They're not a scary football team. I'm not scared of them.
Kirk Thuggins.
Yeah, I'm not scared of them. I mean, the Cowboys are a good football team. They should be there in an NFC Championship game conversation. However, what do we always say about them? Their inability to win big football games. They don't win big games. They just don't do it.
And I think for me, the thing against the Cowboys isn't even the players. I think Mike McCarthy is going to be what holds the
An
team back.
absolute moron. Complete moron.
Uh,
The fact that they went for it on 4th and 2 in their own territory in the first possession of the game is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my
would
entire
you rather have Kellen Moore as your head coach?
No. I think both those are bad options. I mean, he's an absolute fool.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers every day should just walk to his house and punch him in the face.
Like,
He's
there's
the reason why Aaron Rodgers doesn't have more rings.
Like,
Direct
there's
reason.
Yeah, there's no way he gets another job after the Cowboys fire him, right?
Absolutely not. And if you're watching this and watching him do these things, you're like, what? What are you, bro? What are you doing? And like, you know, while we're around the league, like, I get the Jacksonville Jaguars going for it. And
What do you
going
got to
for it.
lose?
You're 3-7, whatever.
3-8, yeah, whatever the
Let's
record
try to
is.
get some confidence. Let's do something magical. If you're the Chargers, Brandon, what are you doing? Like, I know they converted it, but that's got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Like, you're the Chargers. You got Justin Herbert, your quarterback. What are you afraid to go to overtime against the Arizona Cardinals for? Like, that could have it worked out. But sometimes just because something works out doesn't mean it wasn't stupid.
Yes.
Like, if I go lay on a railroad track and a train doesn't run over my face, it still was stupid. Like,
yeah.
what are you doing that for?
Yeah, just because something works out doesn't mean it's the right decision.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? Why? Like, you're in playoff contention. You can't be playing around like this.
No. Now, since we're talking, like you said, around
And Doug
the
did
league,
the same thing. He did the same thing here, if you guys remember, in 2016. I think it was against the Ravens, where the Eagles, they weren't going to make the playoffs. I think they lost a couple games in a row, and he just wanted to give them a little bit of a confidence builder. And they did. They converted it. It worked out. And like, it might have, you could say maybe it's a springboard 2017, but that type of stuff, yeah, for a young team, a team's not going anywhere. All right, fine. But an actual playoff contender, what are you doing?
well,
He's another one.
the rumor is that Justin Herbert next year is going to be coached by Sean Payton.
That would be extraordinary. That's the move.
That's the rumor.
We talked about that a couple weeks. We talked about that a couple months ago. That should be the guy to go out there. It's important. Yeah, it's important to that would be wow.
I mean, I would seriously begin considering Justin Herbert for MVP considerations.
That could be a Jordan Phil Jackson situation.
Yeah.
But that could be really, and then you can get his receivers back healthy.
Running game.
That could be dynamic. I mean, that should be what happens. Brandon Staley has no idea what he's doing.
Every week I feel like every week I text you, is the Chargers coach stupid?
Yeah.
And every week you respond, yes.
Yeah. that was a wild move. But yeah, so you look around the league and you compare it to what's going on here, and take it off the the fan hat and the analytical hat. Like, the Eagles are the best team in football. I mean, it's just, I think it's an undisputed fact the Eagles are the best team in football. And it's been like that for about 2 months now. And the nice thing is the way they play football, the way they play offensive football, it's built for January. Like, the fact they can give you over 300 yards on the ground, and you have to honor, and the thing is, you have to honor the pass. You can't stack the box. Can't do it because you really want to deal with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith one-on-one, Dallas Goedert in one-on-one situations? You don't want that. You don't want those problems.
No.
So you can't. So you have to just, and then you got a quarterback that can ruin the game and just run for 45 yards out of nowhere. But that drive, you can go back again. The first drive, the drive was stalled. They had nothing. No, they moved the ball 0 yards the first 2 downs of that football game, and then your quarterback runs for 50 yards. And what happens? It's like a snowball effect with offense. Everything gets rolling off of that. Defense now on their heels because they're now thinking. I mean, that really, in essence, was the game. Because it's like, all right, we got the spy set up. We're ankle snap, ACL snap, and you got guys laying down all over the place like a war field, just laying on the ground grabbing things. Sad.
Yeah.
Like it's really, and listen, the Packers, like I said, they were fighting for their lives. Aaron Rodgers gave you a 2013 Aaron Rodgers play. That throw that Aaron Jones was silly. Like Aaron Rodgers is still that guy. Don't get it twisted. He is him. He's still him. And like he showed you that before the rib injury. He showed you that. So he's gonna be fine, whether he ends up in San Francisco next year or whether he works out with the Packers, they come back next year. He's still that guy.
Yes.
And he was out there fighting for his life for the rest of the team. You know, they turned back and got to 14 right off that 13. And it was like, oh, okay, this is going to be a game. 2020 at one point. But the Eagles' offense is just too much. And it's such a luxury to have that, where even if your defense doesn't have a great game, the offense say, all right, we'll get you 40. We'll just keep scoring. No big deal.
Yeah. Continue. I mean, when they're 10-1, it's hard to, like, you're nitpicking at things.
I completely agree.
The defense, like, yeah, they give up a lot of rushing yards. They're still 10-1. I guess the biggest thing is that your special team sucks besides your kicker.
Yeah. And that's a little bit of a concern for me.
It is, but here's
what happened at Green Bay last year.
The thing is, the problem is that it's not something you're going to be able to fix this year, but it's fixable. And the way that you do that is you just get better quality back end of the roster players.
Yeah.
You are just using guys at the end of your roster who they're just not NFL guys. Like, it's okay. I'm not an NFL guy. You're not an NFL player. Like, it's okay. Like, you're just not like an NFL guy. Like,
right.
It just is what it is, and that's what they're using. Like, I'm like the Britton Covey experiment. I'm over that.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to see that again. I'd like to see some more Devontae Smith. Like, I would like,
But I understand why they're not putting him back there. Like, he's just
no. I'm saying I would like to see him to have bigger games. I'm saying I would
yeah.
But like,
yeah, I mean, but it's hard because everybody's got to eat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're 10-1.
Like Quez Watkins, the guy that disappeared for 6 weeks, not by anything he did. It's just the fact that everybody's got to eat and somebody's got to be kind of left out. But then he's been big for them the past couple weeks with all the injuries, and he's been making plays, and it shows like, hey, oh yeah, we got Quez Watkins too. Like, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah,
like it's just so much firepower. You're gonna have guys not like Smitty like by himself could get between a 1,400 and 1,700 yard season if he was a number one guy. But you got AJ Brown, who's the best thing we've had here since TO, and he needs to eat. And then you got Dallas Goedert. He's got to get his. You got Miles at the backfield. He can catch a little bit out the backfield. Like Jalen, and also too, think about this was crazy too. You got a quarterback that scores a lot of touchdowns.
Yes.
Like, if you go to the props, Jalen Hurts usually is like a plus 150 for score.
Yeah, for any time. Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah,
a plus 150 as a quarterback.
Him and Lamar consistently at the top too.
And you go to other quarterbacks, like even a Josh Allen who runs the ball a lot. He's like a plus 500, plus 800, somewhere in there. So this goes to show you all the people that got to eat.
No, you're absolutely right.
And then you had the weird, you had that weird thing, like, in early in the game, which kind of shifted them in a little bit. The Packers, where they run the ball, they do the quarterback sneak twice, and it doesn't work, which is weird. But that'll never happen.
The thing is, his teams are starting to catch on to it.
Yeah, but it's
what you still have to stop it.
It's so
effective. Just because you know it's coming doesn't mean you can still have to stop it.
Right.
As everything in the NFL, eventually a defensive coordinator will figure out how to stop it.
Yeah.
But they haven't yet. And until they do, it's
a hard, because listen, you got a quarterback that squats 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And then you're putting, a big honking tight end behind him and just pushing him forward on top of that. It's just a very difficult thing. We need 3 inches that we're not going to get 3 inches. You know? But that was a weird moment in the game. But again, I wasn't worried at that point, because I'm like, we're gonna score again. We'll be fine.
I heard Nick was doing his weekly interview hit, and he was talking about how they were like, did you guys intend to run it that much, like, instead of passing? He's like, listen, we ran the same play like 12 times in a row. And every time we ran it, we got like 4 or 5 yards. So I just turned to Shane and I was like, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
just keep doing it.
Yeah. Don't outsmart yourself. When you get the power rankings?
That's one of my favorite parts of the show.
Let's do it.
Oh, hold on. We can't. Remember what I said I needed from you at the end of the Eagles discussion?
Oh, okay. Yes. I hate to be a wet blanket, but I do not like them this week at all.
I don't think so.
However, it's no big deal. This is a bonus. If they win this game, you're right. 16-1 is in the realm of possibilities. If they lose this game, which I think they will, it doesn't matter because it's only the second loss of the year. It's an AFC team. It doesn't hurt you at all. But it's just a bad spot. Titans have lost 2 in a row. I think they're 7-4 now. They need something. They need to win. The Bengals are hot. The Bengals are getting hot. They need to win. They need to win bad. And got Derrick Henry, who is coming in here, and we know that problem that poses. It's not a great spot for the Eagles, not at all. Coming off of the Eagles on prime time, going back to a 1:00 game.
I like that they're home now. I like the fact that it's here.
Yeah, it's a lot of variables. Could they win the game? Of course they can win the game. They're the best team in football. However, if they lose this game, which I think they will, I'm not going to be surprised, but I'm not going to be worried either. This is not. No matter what happens in this game, it's not a panic situation at all, or a concern situation.
Lombardi was telling me about it. He goes, the Titans play unlike any other team in the league. They're like, the Titans want to turn this into a street fight, take you out back, and rough you up.
Yeah.
He's like, now, if you go back there, he's like, and you rough them up, you can win the game. But he's like, no other team really wants to do that. And he's like, Mike Vrabel, that's how he wants to play.
Yeah,
he's like Derrick Henry. That's how he wants to play.
Yeah, yeah, no, 1,000%.
And then one last thing before we get to the power rankings, the return of Deshaun Watson this week.
Yeah, apparently, there's going to be, I think 10 of the accusers in attendance. It's in Houston. Yeah, so that's eerie in itself.
I was just saying that. I was just like, does this? I think the Browns. I don't know I'm pretty sure they're not mathematically, but they're not going to make the playoffs.
No, I think they're 4-7.
Yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs.
4-7. Yeah,
but do you think that Deshaun Watson tips the power in?
No, because it's very similar to like a Ben Simmons situation. The guy hasn't played in 2 years. It's going to take him a little bit of time.
Next year.
Yeah, next year they're going to be really good, but even the Ben Simmons, you saw that the first couple weeks he looked terrible, and then all of a sudden he started to come on a little bit and starting to see flashes of what he's capable of doing. It's going to be very similar with Deshaun Watson. Like, I'm not expecting to go out there and look like Deshaun Watson of 2019.
Yeah, if I'm the Steelers fans, I better pray that Kenny Pickett works out because every team in my division has a problem with quarterback.
That is facts. That is facts. Yeah, I agree. All right.
Shall we?
Power it up. All right, so last week, Bengals were at 10, Ravens were at 9, 8 Titans, 7 Vikings, 6 Bills, 5 Dolphins, 4 Cowboys, 3 Niners, 2 Chiefs, 1 Eagles. This week, and barely hanging on by a thread, those Baltimore Ravens at number 10. We're probably at the point of the year, unless something catastrophic happens, you're going to see the same teams in this list, but it's just going to be just different order. Because this is probably the top 10 teams in the NFL I have right here. This will probably stick again unless something catastrophic happens. As we talked about earlier with the Ravens, the Ravens, I can't trust them. They're untrustworthy. They've gone their 4th game now with a double-digit lead in the 4th quarter, which is an insane stat. The offense is inconsistent. Lamar Jackson's not having the greatest of years, having a good year, not a great year. And if they're going to be really successful, they need him to be great all the time. That's just how they're built. And he's not been great. He's been good. So for that reason, that's why they're number 10. Probably going to end up hovering around that heading into the playoffs. Number 9, Tennessee Titans. Again, hanging on. They're a good football team. That was like you said, what Lombardi said, that was a street fight on Sunday against the Bengals.
Yeah,
fest. The Bengals outslugged them. They're a team that their formula is always set up for a certain type of success. They have a ceiling, I believe, and I don't ever see them getting to a Super Bowl. But they're set up to be a successful franchise by the way they play football. Very similar to a 1990s New York Knicks in the NBA. I'll give that analogy. Built in that mold where they're going to ugly it up and force you to ugly it up, and the uglies are going to keep them in the game and keep them around. So that's their formula. Number 8, and getting hot and looking eerily similar to what happened last year, those Cincinnati Bengals. The terrifying thing about what they're doing right now, Mixon was out Sunday. Jamar Chase is out to get him back next week. They're getting hot again at the right time. They started out slow. Joe Burrow started out very slow. He slowly but surely is coming on and looking like the Burrow of last year. And the defense is a little bit better. The offensive line is still kind of a mess. It's amazing that they went out and did get some offensive help. It still hasn't really bore fruits. But listen, Burrow is just so good it almost doesn't matter. And the defense has improved a lot. So they're getting hot at the right time. Number 7, Buffalo Bills slipping a spot. Yeah, they won the game. However, again, not impressive at all. I just don't trust them. They're also another team that's untrustworthy. They just make really costly errors at the worst possible times in the worst possible spots. And I think that trend will continue as they get into the playoffs, because there's going to be a big drive. They're going to be driving, things are going to look good, and they're going to do something stupid. That's pretty much what they've done their entire existence. Number 6, the Minnesota Vikings. They get a victory over Patriots. I didn't realize how bad their defense was. Their defense is really bad. Like, you gave up 26 points to Mac Jones. Like, Mac Jones is driving the field like he's Joe Montana on you. Like, that's not acceptable. Like giving up 26 points to that Patriots team is really just unacceptable.
Does Mac Jones suck?
No, I don't think he sucks. I don't think he's great, or I don't think he's good. I think he's average. He'll get you through.
Is he better than Zappy?
Right now, yeah. Well, no. No. Well, I mean, Zappy was, okay when he was out there. I guess it's a push. I guess it's either or situation. I don't think either one are very impressive, but yeah, that defense, that's their Achilles heel to me, is that they can't stop anybody. And if you're playing against elite teams with offenses, like, I just don't see how they're possibly going to end up getting any stops. Number 5, and staying hot, was Miami Dolphins, who beat the snot out of the Texans and just took the second half off pretty much. They just said,
Got a little dicey there at the end.
Yeah, but they checked out. They were 30-0 at halftime. They checked out. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out a side thing going on, the Mike McDaniels Tua conversation on the sidelines are something that everyone needs to be a part of. Like, Mike McDaniels is a wild character, and
he seems like a wild dude.
Tua on the sidelines are absolutely phenomenal. Like, the things they talk about, like, are just it's insane. But like, you definitely check that out. Like I said to you guys before, I'm looking forward to Dolphins 49ers this week. Playoff type game. Sure, it'll be a playoff type atmosphere. Should be a good one. I'm interested to see how Miami plays against a team with a good defense. And see how they match up. Definitely will be a telltale test of them going forward, where they actually are and who they actually are. Number 4, the Dallas Cowboys got off to a slow start against the Giants, but then end up turning around and getting together in the second half. Congratulations to all of you out there that got a backdoor cover off that. Daniel Jones throwing a late touchdown last 5 seconds. Sad for all of you guys that had Dallas covering that game, because that's a heartbreaker. But Dallas they're a good football team. Like, we know this. We know they're a good football team. It's a matter of who will they be when they have to play a big game. Who will they be then? Will they be able to get over the hump? But we know how good they are. Offensively, extremely balanced. Defensively, extremely balanced. They're a good football team. Number 3, San Francisco 49ers completely blanking New Orleans. New Orleans was inside the 5, I think 3 times. They came away with 0 points, and they scored 0 points throughout the entire game. Wasn't pretty. Niners only put up 13 points. Doesn't matter, because they're just going to figure out a way to win games. That's what they do. They win football games. And sometimes that's all that matters. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs, also just taking care of business on a Sunday afternoon. Very, very, easy win against a depleted, destroyed Los Angeles Rams team, who's they're done at this point, obviously. But listen, I think the Chiefs have been consistently the second best team in the league for probably the past like 6 weeks. Patrick Mahomes, as you stated, is a robot once again, and because of that, they have elevated themselves back in the conversation as one of the top 3 teams in football. I gotta say, I was completely wrong about that offense possibly falling apart without Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce continues to do Travis Kelce things. The run game, Pacheco was a gold mine, a gold find by them, who's basically just pushed Hilaire to the bench. He probably will never. He's been witness protection at this point now, and why wouldn't he be? Because Pacheco is just that good. And they're so much more balanced without Tyreek Hill, but they're still so dynamic. They still have playmakers, and Patrick Mahomes just being able to again ruin the game and do the things that he does makes him second best team in the league. At number 1 should be no surprise. It is the Philadelphia Eagles, who continue to prove week in and week out why they are the best team in football, as we stated earlier for the first 25 minutes.
Yeah, I don't really have much of a pushback against any of that. Like you said, the teams that are going to be here are starting to make their spots known.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that that the Fighting Zach Wilsons didn't make it on your list.
Yeah, you got Mike. Well, it's the Fighting Mike Whites now.
Well,
Mike Whites.
Just for last week, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, that I don't like. Listen, that sometimes can work. I remember Andy Reid did that to Donovan in the 2008 season, where he benched him against the Ravens
Or Kevin Cobb.
Cardinals, and
Yep.
it worked for the late Rich. I don't know what a young quarterback. That's the move. It seems like Zach Wilson handled it well. And listen, he's played horrible the past couple weeks. I mean, against the Patriots was absolutely terrible. It was terrible. But Bill Belichick also is an eater of worlds.
Yes.
That's when it comes to young quarterbacks. I don't know.
Listen, if there's ever a young quarterback facing Bill Belichick, when I mean young, within his first 2 or 3 seasons, bet the under.
I think when I see a young quarterback that's as talented as Zach Wilson struggling, I look at the coaching staff and I look at the guys around him that he's surrounded with. Are these the right guys to bring the best out of him? And I don't think they have that.
But Salah's not a bad coach, though.
No, he's not.
Awkward.
But here's the thing: if you're gonna have a defensive-minded head coach, you got to get someone for the franchise quarterback.
You got to get a whiz kid.
Coordinator.
Don't they have LaFleur's brother there?
I
think they do.
Yeah.
It's Mike LaFleur. Yeah, his brother.
I mean, but maybe he's not the guy. Maybe he's not it. Look at Trevor Lawrence. Look at what Doug Peterson's done for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, look at some of those throws he's making now.
Well, when you have Urban Meyer as your coach,
right? But
Broccoli would be a better coach than Urban Meyer.
1,000%. But I think the Doug Peterson factor of being a guy who knows how to work with quarterbacks definitely helps him. And that's all I want. I want to see Zachy Poo with a better coaching staff around him.
So
Robert Saleh stays. Just get the man in someone.
Get him a whiz.
Yeah. Send him Jalen Hurts. Reach out to my boy Zach. Give him your people. Give him your people you worked with over the summer. Let's see if we can make something happen.
So I had to filter the power rankings this week. Anybody that had Tampa Bay, I did not. I'm not reading their power rankings.
I'll blow a gasket.
So we only have 3 this week because of that reason.
That is unbelievable to me.
Now, granted, every one of them had them at 10, and the reasoning for almost all of them was, it's December, it's Tom Brady.
No, you can't. That's
No.
terrible.
So we have 3 that did not have Tampa Bay at all.
It's also the Fighting Brissettes.
However, one of them did have Tampa Bay at 11. Luckily, we don't care about 11.
Yeah.
We're going to go with the worldwide leader first. Okay. 10 Ravens. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
9 Tennessee. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
8 Cincinnati.
Okay.
7 San Francisco.
A little low for me, but all right.
6 Minnesota.
Okay.
5 Miami.
Yeah.
4 Dallas,
Yeah.
Buffalo, Philadelphia, KC.
Yeah. See, Buffalo, that's the problem. And this is what happens is these people, like, they get stuck on a team and just not watching the week to week. Like, and listen, the Lions, don't get it twisted. The Lions are playing much better football. The Lions have won 3 in a row coming to that game, but however, Buffalo should go in there and beat the dog poo out of that team.
Yeah.
And the reason why they didn't was because of Buffalo. Buffalo was doing Buffalo things. That's why they're down. That's why they're down on my list.
Yeah. Let's go to the Athletic.
Okay.
10 Tennessee, 9 Baltimore, 8 Minnesota, 7 Cincinnati, 6 Miami, 5 Buffalo, 4 Dallas, 3 Miami,
3 Miami,
2 Philadelphia,
What?
1 Kansas City.
I'm so excited about Dolphins 49ers. I can't tell you how excited I am. I really want to know what Miami really is. Like, I think it's going to tell you a lot. We're in December. This is December. This is a playoff type matchup. I want to see who is Miami. Who are they really? Are they really this good? Are they really this explosive? Are they this good?
So what are your what ifs? Like, what if Miami gets blown out? What if Miami blows them out?
Miami blows them out. Like, that's an for me. That they're better than people thought. If they get blown out, I think people are expecting Miami to get blown out.
No, I'm just asking.
How do you feel? I'm not going to say people are expecting Miami to get blown out. I think people are expecting Miami to lose this game. I don't think people actually believe Miami's as good as they've looked.
I think that if this game is within 5 to 7 points, you can't really gain too much perspective either way. It's just a team won and a team has to win, and a team has to lose.
Yeah, but I think if Miami doesn't have to win this game for me to be like, oh, they're legit. They need to compete.
I don't think either team. But my point is, I don't think either team for me has to win for me to feel that way.
This needs to be close. Last 5 minutes of the game.
Like, I know the 49ers are for real.
Yeah.
I kind of don't believe in the Dolphins, but at the same time, all they do is win. So, right.
Yeah, that's my point. Is that's why this week is so important. There's a lot of people like you who and listen, I'll put myself into it. I don't know. I don't know. Like, they look really good, and they've had some really explosive games. They beat Buffalo early in the year. The Ravens win doesn't look as good now, but it's still. I mean, they still did it in Baltimore. So like this will be an interesting game.
So then the last one we got is from NFL Network. Number 10, the New York Jets. 9 Tennessee, 8 Cincinnati, 7 Minnesota, 6 Miami, 5 Buffalo, 4 Dallas, 3 San Francisco, 2 Kansas City. You know who's number 1?
Yeah, I mean, Miami being 5 or 6, I'm not mad at that. I think that's kind of where I have them. I have them at 5. I mean, what was 10, 9, and 8 again? I think I had a problem with that.
10 was the Jets.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yep.
The
Jets and the Giants are basically the same team.
9 and 8. You had Cincinnati at 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tennessee at 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the same for you as that. Yeah. So it's just 10.
It was the Jets. Jets are a fun little story. They've obviously been very competitive, but come on, who's scared of the Jets?
Nobody.
This time of the year, who's scared of the Jets? Who's scared of the Giants?
Nobody.
No one's scared of those two franchises. They don't scare anybody.
So that is all right. Our rankings.
I like it.
So let's go to the birthdays. Okay. So there's a lot of them. So obviously we're doing the show today on December 1st. Marcus has 2 kids that are school aged, and for those of you looking at the calendar, this is flu season. So his house is under attack by any and every germ that you could possibly imagine.
Petri dish alert.
So the show was supposed to be yesterday.
Yeah.
We had to push it back
Yeah.
to today. However, yesterday, as far as birthdays and events, was wild.
By the way, I'm absolutely terrified because there's nothing worse than being the last healthy one standing in your orbit.
Oh, yeah. I can
I
only
would rather
imagine what's
get
going through
first.
your head.
So I'm just sitting there, just like waiting for the flu. Literally could be sitting right here over my shoulder. I don't know.
It's coming for you.
It's all over this. Like I'm coaching again. It's all in the school. I had like 5-6 players out this week with it. It's everywhere. My assistant coach had it.
Shout out to your immune system.
It's everywhere. Like my immune system's working overtime.
Shout out.
It's life.
Shout out.
Yeah.
So like I said, a lot of stuff happened yesterday on November 30th. A lot of birthdays and whatnot, and I didn't want to update it because there were so many on there.
Yeah.
So this is all from yesterday, November 30th. We'll start with what happened first. Okay. Yesterday, 1982, Marcus.
Yeah.
Thriller's released.
40-year anniversary of Thriller was yesterday. I had this in my notes as well. The greatest album ever, statistically.
Yes.
And if you just talk about impact, the culture shift. I mean, Thriller kind of like, you do the BC AD. It's before Thriller and after Thriller because Thriller changed everything. And for those of you who don't know, maybe the greatest spite accomplishment of all time. So in 1979, Michael Jackson releases Off the Wall. And Off the Wall also, obviously, a classic album. Did not get the fanfare, the awards, the fanfare by the awards because this is what it is with the Grammys. The Grammys usually, and these awards, they're always like a couple years behind. So Michael Jackson was upset that he did not win the amount of awards he thought he was going to win. Goes and literally says, I'm going to make sure my next album, I am undeniable. Well, that next album was Thriller, which, is, the fusion of rock and roll with R&B, with pop, a little bit of hip hop infused, early hip hop infused in the album, and everything. 7 singles. 7 out of the 9 tracks were singles. 7 singles, and they all placed in the top 10. Absolutely insane. And then you have the iconic moments of the live Billie Jean performance at Motown 25. You have the new age way of doing music videos, which changed the landscape. We'll get the Thriller video itself, but the Billie Jean video, the Beat It video, these videos were insane. You had the racial components of, Paul McCartney being a white male and Michael Jackson being a black male singing about the same girl. That had never been done before. The groundbreaking of being a black male breaking into MTV and all the things that went into that, because MTV before Thriller just really catered to white audience and white music. And also Thriller as an album not being marketed to just a black audience, being marketed to a global audience. Like Thriller is something that just we will never see again. And what I always say about Michael Jackson is, as an artist, when people compare themselves to Michael Jackson, you can't do it because he broke down so many different barriers and did so many things that these things can never be done again. So Thriller is just, and then you have the Thriller music video, the most iconic video in the history of music. Something like literally, it's almost, I'm sure, like I was 5 the first time I saw it, so it was like 1985. But like, I'm sure watching that debut was probably like watching aliens land from outer space. Like, what am I watching? What is this? Like, this is not, because you go back, it's funny, you can Google or YouTube and look at videos pre-Thriller and pre that, era, even the Billie Jean video. But you go back before that, it was just literally a bunch of lights and dudes playing their instruments and singing a song. That was a music video. That's what it was. And Michael Jackson turned that art form into, said, hey, we can make this not just a marketing tool for the album, we can make this a pretty cool thing. And the group dance choreography thing, no one had seen that before. The storytelling of a music video, no one had seen that before. Actually, Billie Jean was the first music video to tell a story, and then obviously saw the evolution into Beat It, into Thriller. So unbelievable, groundbreaking, legendary, just Michael Jackson things. That's all.
Next, 1993, Jacksonville Jaguars are announced they're going to join the NFL.
Expansion alert.
Do you know what the following team was after that?
Was it Panthers?
It was not. They were before then.
I'm out.
The revival of the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
And then the final one was obviously the Houston Texans.
Nice.
1994. Music recording studio in New York City. Do you know what happens?
1994 music recording studio in New York City. That Tupac being shot?
It is.
Okay. That was the Quad City shooting?
Yes.
Yeah, started the infamous East Coast West Coast situation.
2004. Ken Jennings breaks the Jeopardy record.
Oh, okay.
Now the host of Jeopardy.
Yeah.
2012, Rihanna releases Unapologetic.
That was Umbrella was on there, or was that before? That was Umbrella.
No. That was that one.
Yeah.
2012.
Huge album.
And in 2015, Kobe announces that at the end of the season he will be hanging it up.
I would love to like go back and see what would have happened if he did not tear his Achilles. Like how long he could continue to be great.
Yeah.
Because that was when he was still like a top.
That was the beginning of the end for him.
He was still a top 5 player in the league before he tore that Achilles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to see what would have happened if that injury never happened. How long he would have remained dominant.
Yeah. Now we got a bunch of birthdays. We got 11 birthdays to get to.
Okay.
In no particular order. Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway? Comedian. Pudge Rodriguez. Shane Victorino.
Flying Hawaiian.
Bo Jackson.
Bo knows.
Steve Aoki.
Okay.
Mark Twain.
All right.
Ben Stiller.
It's a big day.
Chrissy Teigen. I always mess up her last name. How do I pronounce it? Kaylee Cuoco.
Cuoco. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Alicia Cuthbert. And Billy Idol.
Wow. It's a big day.
Yes.
30th.
Yes.
Huge day out there.
A lot of birthdays. And I got a big issue with the site I use.
Okay.
They classified Bo Jackson as a baseball player, not a football player.
That should be a football / baseball.
Should be no. If you only pick one, you pick football.
Yeah.
You can only pick one.
I agree.
So we'll switch real quick to the top 5 in honor of Ken Jennings breaking the record. Marcus, I give you the top 5 game shows ever.
Ooh, okay, I like this.
Okay, yes. Now, I recently found out that this game show is actually back. And we discussed this a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Supermarket Sweep.
Yes. Yeah.
Back. Like I said, very similar to Guy's Grocery Games, but not quite the same.
Yes.
Okay. Number 4, Cash Cab.
Cash Cab.
Yeah,
I remember that.
you remember that. Cash Cab. So quick story about that. I'm at Penn State one time, and this is before Uber. This is before Lyft and all that. You had to get a taxi. So we used to just all pile into like a minivan taxi.
Yeah.
We're all driving back. One of my drunk friends starts asking the taxi cab, "Hey, is this Cash Cab? Can you start asking us questions?" The cab wants no part of this whatsoever.
Yeah,
So he starts asking the cab driver questions. And I'm sure the whole ride back, he was just like, "Yo, I can't be here."
Yeah, I don't want to be part of this. That's awesome.
Number 3, Deal or No Deal.
Great game. Every time I have Dave & Buster's, I play it.
Oh, same. Number 2.
It's so simple, but so effective.
I mean, it's 20 cases.
Yeah.
pick the right case to get the money.
Love it.
Who doesn't like money? There's giving you $1 million.
Right.
Number 2, Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. Wheel of Fortune, I mean, that has the reputation of being like for older people, and my grandma used to watch all the time, but
Yeah.
I was in. I love guessing.
It has been continuously running since 1975.
Yeah, it's how I learned the difference between vowels and consonants. Right there,
Yes.
Wheel of Fortune.
Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, are you going to pick number 1? No, I can't pick Jeopardy as number 1 because the whole thing's based around Jeopardy.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah. That was, not a lot really of new inventive shows came out in 2000 of game shows, but that was a huge
Yeah. Honorable mentions.
Prime time game show, which you don't like that's
No.
something that hadn't happened since like the 70s, a prime time game show.
Yeah. 2 honorable mentions. Number 1, Family Feud.
Classic.
The only thing is I only got 5 spots. So 1, Family Feud. Number 2, do you remember Double Dare?
Of course.
Okay, wanted to make sure.
Of course, Double Dare.
Okay. Had to be an honorable mention.
Double Dare, yeah. Mark's, first of all, to give you the host, Mark Summers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that show was,
noted. Mark Summers, noted Eagles fan.
Wow. I didn't know that. That
noted.
Show was, for kids,
Noted
like,
Eagles
that
fan.
was, that was like our Price is Right.
Yes.
That was like every kid was in on Double Dare. Every kid wanted to be on that show.
Get slimed.
The slime, like that show was so good. But I understand why I can't make the list because it's just for kids, not for adults too. So everyone can watch it. But yeah, Double Dare. Oh yeah. Love Double Dare.
That is your top 5 game shows.
Yeah, good list. Good list.
A lot of people say, oh, Jeopardy should be on there. Yes, Jeopardy is an elite game show, but when it's the premise of the top 5, how can you put it as a top 5?
I always kind of found Jeopardy a little boring, to be honest with you. I'll be honest, I did. Like it wasn't have enough pizzazz around it. Like it was the information obviously is great, but it was just very like this.
The thing is, the difference is that it is a game show to rank your intelligence.
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing. It doesn't matter if you go up, you can, for example, Double Dare, bigger, stronger people will perform better.
Yeah.
Oh, just forgot one I got to put on there. Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah, that's another great Nickelodeon show.
Ooh, how did I forget about that?
I bet you we talked to our guy Gail. He'll have some good stories about these shows. He's worked at Nickelodeon for like 45 years.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
Yeah. So he might have some good stories for that.
I'm about to text him when we get off the show.
Yeah, definitely. All right, listen, guys, it's been a great show. Big Eagles game this week, but listen, if something goes wrong, which it may, it's okay. Still the best team in the NFL.
You know what happens if you see me with sunglasses on.
Yeah, you know what happens. All right, Mark between everywhere.
At Justin Emery Show on the Bluebird app until Elon closes it.
Brad Emery Pod everywhere, BradEmery.com for the merch. Please check out our friends at Vans Jewelers. Until next time, you can be with us, you be against us, but never going to stop us. Late.